Yeah.
Welcome everyone to the South Russell Village Council meeting. Today is Monday, January the 13th, 2025. Please rise. Put your hand over your heart. Join us with our pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Fiscal Officer, roll.
Bell is absent. Berger.
Here.
Canton.
Here.
Kavanaugh. Here. Kalicki.
Here.
Porter.
Okay, I'm seeking a motion to appoint the President Pro Tem. Do we hear a motion from the floor?
Yes, Mayor, thank you very much. At this time, I would like to make a motion that a gentleman who has been sitting in that chair now for several years, has done a very good job, be nominated once again as President Pro Tem, Councilman Mark Ward.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations. All right, we have minutes for the December 9th regular council meeting minutes. Any changes or corrections to the minutes? We have a move to approve by Porter, seconded by Canton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are passed. We have minutes from the 12th of December 20 special council meeting. Any changes or corrections? Do we have a motion to approve?
Move.
Moved by Kavanaugh, seconded by
Second.
Porter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Minutes have passed. We have minutes from the December 24th special council meeting. Any changes or corrections in those? We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Berger, seconded by
Second.
Kavanaugh. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
That was not present. Okay. So the vote is 4-0 and abstain. We have no visitors tonight. The mayor's report. We need a motion to acknowledge the receipt and review of council rules. Solicitor, anything you need to say before we act on this motion?
No.
Okay, we have a motion.
So
Moved by Canton, seconded by Porter. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next three items under the mayor's report, I'll hold those until we do ordinances, resolutions. Let the committee people go first. Fiscal Officer, the floor is yours.
Wow, that was quick. I just did my report. I will have the year-end financials from 2024 at the next council meeting because we're still trying to wrap up some of the postings. And what was the other thing? So for the America 250, Christy did do that webinar, and then she's going to go through that on Thursday. Wednesday, sorry. And so she did find out, so I just want to remind you that that grant is due by grant application.
No reminder needed here.
Okay. And
I meet with him again tomorrow.
and then the other thing is you have to have one outside person in the committee, so it has to be someone from the Historical Society or something. They said like.
You got that covered?
Almost.
Okay.
So those were the two things I had for that, and that's all I have.
Questions of the fiscal officer? Hearing none. Finance Committee.
thank you very much, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to acknowledge receipt and review of January 13th, 2025 credit card report. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Finance met on Friday, January the 10th. We discussed purchase order procedures, and there seems to be quite a paper chase with purchase orders. And we're going to investigate the possibility of purchasing software to help us enter the 21st century when it comes to our policy and how we work on our purchase orders. We've discussed that. The financial report was reviewed and signed off also by the committee. And the next meeting will be on February the 10th at 6 p.m. at the hall. That's all I have. Mark? Nothing to add? Thank you.
Questions of the Finance Committee? Thank you. Solicitors, floor is yours.
So I have a couple of things to report. You'll see there's an ordinance on the agenda approving the support of the Ohio Municipal League's challenge of AT&T's tariff application before the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. So let me just explain that just quickly. So right now, governmental entities are supposed to pay for the relocation of any facilities in public right-of-way. The Supreme Court, however, has said that if there's a tariff that contains a provision that requires the city to cover the costs of the relocation, then the city has to cover the cost of the relocation instead of the utility company like AT&T or First Energy. So long story short, AT&T has asked for this tariff before PUCO, and the Ohio Municipal League has asked all municipalities and actually all local governments, because it could extend even to townships and counties actually, to possibly just kind of provide support for their challenge of this tariff application. I mean, it basically shifts the burden of the cost to the taxpayers instead of to the actual company, which sounds nuts. So that's on your agenda. And the reason we're doing it now, there is a time sensitivity. We have to be able to, OML would like to be able to say, these are all the municipalities in support, these are all the townships in support, and we have to file something. They have to file something by January 18th. So that's why that's on the agenda for tonight. I also noticed that on the agenda under the Properties Committee, there's a motion to go out for bid for the salt structure. Just wanted to remind everyone, whoever's on properties, forget again, sorry. It's just to remind that, the salt committee, or excuse me, the Properties Committee probably should still reach out to the building department, find out what zoning applications need to be made, if any. Probably will have to go before Planning Commission, just like the garage for the police department had to go before. I don't think there'll be any BZA. I don't know if there'll be variances requested, but just to make that inquiry so we know where we're going. And then finally, I don't know if actually it's been signed into law. I'm hearing actually conflicting stories about House Bill 257, which is the ability for certain public bodies to hold and attend meetings virtually. I believe the governor did sign it into law, but I still can't find actual pinpoint site on that. But in any event, assuming he does sign it or has signed it, it will go into effect in 90 days. This does not apply for any elected members of any public body or any compensated members of any public body. Council, that doesn't apply to you then. It also doesn't apply to the Architectural Review Board. But it could apply to the Zoning Commission and the Planning Commission. But in order to do that, they have to establish certain rules. So while I understand there's been some discussion about, thinking that virtual meetings for those boards or commissions might not be advisable, technically they're the public body and they're the ones that get to make that decision.
So could committee meetings be virtual?
No, because, at least maybe possibly the ad hoc committee, because they are neither elected nor compensated.
So nothing changes in our lives?
Not for you, no.
What about me? Like I had a medical issue come up this last Thursday, Friday,
Right.
and was unable to attend the Streets Committee and Utilities Committee meeting on Friday.
Right.
Could I have Zoomed, or would I, if this was law, would that pertain to me, or could I have electronically attended?
I don't think so. I think that, again, it's the public body, whether or not they are elected or compensated, right? And then, so anyone that wants to participate, the public body has to be the one that actually.
Oh,
So in
okay.
other words, right, for Streets Committee or Public
Right, we
Utilities
have
Committee, it's still the
mayor
elected.
and- right.
Correct. So,
Okay.
but just wanted to put that out there. So it's kind of strange. I will tell you that the first part of the law, the first draft of this law, did include municipalities' councils. And they took it out in the Senate.
But townships can?
No, because they're
No, because
elected
they're
as well.
elected,
So
okay.
what I'm saying is there was still this,
All right.
they were including elected and compensated members of public bodies in the original draft. And the Senate took it out.
Right, you have
Yes.
two members of planning commission that are paid, the mayor and myself. How does that impact this? If planning commission was somehow considering virtual meetings?
Yeah, but you're not paid as a member of planning commission. You're paid because you're an elected official, correct?
True, but I'm
Yeah.
also on public utilities, right?
Yeah. You
But
can't, as public utilities, you cannot because you're elected. because that's a council committee. Whereas planning commission is actually a statutory committee.
It is.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, if 2 members are paid out of 5,
Yeah, I really don't, I would be really surprised if the law really went down to that level, but I mean, we could look into it, sure.
okay, thank you.
Would it be, go ahead, anybody else?
Want to give an update on the moratorium?
Sure, so,
No, I want to stay on this one.
oh, okay.
Would it be smart for us to have the BZA or planning commission have a rule that they could meet virtually and then never use it? Because I think it's much better to be in person. But in case something, I don't know, something simple would ever come up.
I mean, I think a rule is a good idea since we have this ability, and so why not have a rule? But I don't think we should do it with the, the thought that we will never use it. With the thought that there might be emergency situation. Now, keep in mind also that any applicant before any of these boards, so like if there's an applicant for a variance before the BZA or an applicant before the planning commission, they also have to consent to the virtual meeting. Even if we have a rule and planning commission is allowed to, hold this meeting virtually, the applicant can say, I don't want it to be virtual, I want it in person, and it has to be in person.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Okay,
So we don't do
All right.
virtual.
thank you, Chief.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you would provide an update on the moratorium.
So no, I mean, there's also an ordinance to extend the moratorium on the retail dispensaries, the cultivation and the processing for adult use cannabis for another 12 months. I don't think safety yet had talked about it, but I believe since our original moratorium passed last January 22nd, and we only had 12 months. So since our next meeting is not to the 27th, we put it on the agenda now.
Other questions of the solicitor? Hearing none. Our engineer is up. Can you remind us, who do you work for now?
Verdantis officially as of January 1st. Verdantas. It's some Latin, I don't
So
know.
green something.
It's a Latin term for something green, ecological, I don't know. But Verdantis is CT Consultants' new moniker. Just a couple things to report. We finished the Bell Road East Culvert replacement in just the nick of time and in budget, and got all of the year-end documents to OPWC to satisfy our closeout requirements, and we're good. The fiscal officer has been holding the local portion of the payment because OPWC pays half, the village pays half. The fiscal officer has been holding our local portion, even though the check is currently cut, until we got the closeout documents from the prime contractor CMG, which came at 5:31 this afternoon. So we will pay our local share to them tomorrow. They'll likely be up to get it. Further down on the agenda in Properties Committee, we're going to have a motion to go out to bid for the salt structure. It's my intention to have an alternate bid. The base bid item is the 2,000-ton structure with an alternate bid item of 1,500 tons, just so we can compare two numbers and pick the one that we think is most suitable to us. And I am still sticking with that $750,000 construction cost estimate. I have to publish that in the advertisement for bids as the engineer's estimate. So I just want to make sure everybody is comfortable with that. But that's where I'm at. Also, I've been having a bunch of conversation in the past couple of weeks with the planning division of ODOT about our available NOACA funding for trails and bicycle safety. We have the sanctioned pedestrian and bicycle ad hoc committee. Do we have any kind of have they met? Do we have any kind of documentation on like what they would like to see or any planning documents yet? If not, I could have one of our planners meet with them and help them along, but I really need to capitalize on that NOACA funding that's available. I need to have a scope, and I don't.
Yeah.
So,
they're going to be here on January 27th,
okay,
asking council to set aside $15,000 to hire you,
oh,
the
okay,
company. They have a lot of different ideas. I can, if somebody wants to know, I can give you their ideas. But what I basically told them is we are a bunch of amateurs. We need CT to come in here and say, this is what you should do. They could very easily, though, sit down with an engineer and say, we want this.
right, if they have, that, which makes it easier.
Yeah.
Because if they have a clear vision forward, and I would love to see something that is in the same image or a similar image of like the park master plan, like,
Okay.
here's this base document that we can, hang ornaments on, as the years go. And as we, complete things, we cross that off the list and move to the next one and maybe think of some new ways to move that document forward. I would love to see something that has a similar feel to it as the park master plan, but for the, bicycle and pedestrian facilities that we currently don't have, but maybe wish to have here in the village, so.
You don't need to be here on the 27th. If council approves setting aside money to hire CT, I can send you the wish list now.
Okay, that would be helpful, because I've already been talking, I've kind of engaged Rich Washington, because he's one of my go-to people as far as visionary planner type of folks. I've already engaged him a little bit on this, just to get him primed, just in case I needed him to come in and, work with the ad hoc committee. So yeah, if you could send me everything you've got, just to get this moving, that would be great, because
Yeah.
I need to have a scope put together, and like I said, I don't have one.
With that in mind, I've been following Mayfield Heights and Pepper Pike.
Okay,
Meaning
Maybe-
what, Bill? Following them out?
Following, Pepper Pike passed an issue for sidewalks, and now they're running a trail basically up Gates Mills Boulevard. Mayfield Heights got a grant and then said, no, we don't want it. You're talking pavilions, parking. It was quite extensive. The people in Mayfield Heights said no.
But if it's going up Gates Mills, I used to go that way to the clinic when I had time. Is it in the strip in the
Yeah,
middle?
right.
It's in the middle
Yeah.
medium.
Yeah, so they got the property right there.
Yeah, it's, there's different, so if you turn it down, it's basically you go to the bottom of the list and maybe 10 years from now, you could,
no, if we can't gel on something, that seems like a good plan, something that we'd like to tackle sooner than later, there's nothing that stops us. We're probably 2 years out from another ask. If we say, no, it's not for us now, thanks anyhow, I could get us queued right back up. So there's no since you didn't take the money, now you're blackballed and we have to wait for someone to die before you can ask for the money again.
okay.
Absolutely not.
No, I think you'll be impressed with the small scope of what they're looking for.
Okay,
Not-
no, if you could forward details, I'll gladly
Okay.
take them.
On
And
that topic, Mayor, was there indication how many responses the committee got to their?
Yeah, I read that
appeal?
report.
Okay.
Ruth, we talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, but did they say how many responses?
The latest, a month ago, they had 256 responses from their survey.
okay.
They were very happy. They will be bringing all that here.
Okay.
You know what? It'd be better if you got that ahead of time,
Yes.
so you could read it.
I don't know if we're gonna do a report on that, but when I read it, there was one, you know how slow I am with technology, I screenshotted it. There was an inaccuracy on their report. The village, this is number 2 in their bullet points. The village owns the first 10 feet from the street. We do not need to buy land would work with homeowners to introduce concepts. That is not correct. We don't own the first 10 feet. We have an easement for the first 10 feet.
We have a 60-foot right-of-way typically on most of our village roads. That's 30 feet. If the road is located in the middle of the 60-foot right-of-way, which they generally are, you have 30 feet from the center
That's
line
right, yeah.
out. That's our public right-of-way. There's all sorts of things we can do with that, including installing a storm sewer or digging out the ditch or a sidewalk or a trail or.
So then who maintains, the homeowner or the village?
The homeowner is responsible to maintain the property as if it's their property. It's the right of, we just have the right of way in that corridor to do village improvements and infrastructure in that right of way corridor, including the road. It's the homeowner's responsibility to cut the grass and to keep that, property that our right of way overlaps, maintained just as they would maintain the rest of their property. If we put an improvement in there and it is a village improvement, let's say we enclose a ditch and we run a storm sewer. Well, it's the village's responsibility to maintain the improvement. So it's not, when it comes to sidewalks.
Don't use that word.
Okay, right, because we're from what I understand, we're not interested in sidewalks, we're interested in a multi-purpose trail that's open to bicycles and pedestrians. I think that's where we've always kind of been focusing. So if it's a village infrastructure, like let's say it turns out to be something like a 10-foot wide gravel trail, like you'd see at the towpath, in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. It would not be that would be a village improvement, and it would be our responsibility to make sure, the ruts and holes get filled with more pea gravel and keep it serviceable.
Okay.
Other questions of our engineer? Thank you. Street Commissioner, you're up.
I submitted my report. I don't have anything at this time right now.
Questions of the Street Commissioner? Hearing none. Street Committee, you're up.
Oh, street committee, I'm trying to review what I wrote because struggle. We met, Dennis and I are now streets, and we met what day, Dennis, Thursday or Friday? Friday. And this was enlightening to me. I submitted my minutes, and if anyone has any questions, they may ask me. And Dennis, would you like to chime in?
No, I have nothing further.
Tim, would you like to give any extra information?
We don't have anything yet at this moment.
Okay.
How's the salt holding out?
We're doing pretty well on it. I do have 300 ton on order that I'm waiting to come in, but otherwise, you guys are doing well keeping it down. We've shut down during the heaviest portions of the snow events. We'll shut the salt off, only salt, hills, curves, and intersections, and then we'll bring it back up. We went through and calibrated the trucks just to make sure that we're putting down what we should be putting down or know what we're putting down at that time. But it's faring okay. The guys are brutally using it.
Great, thank you.
How's the hours working out? 14 hours, I think we were talking about.
So far, we haven't really had to run up against them again. Prior to when we first discussed it, we did run up to it. And what we did was 2 of us went home early, 2 stayed, and then we came back early in the morning and finished up. Kind of left the wall in the middle of the night to beat, and then finished that, broke up hours so nobody was on the clock. I think we ran 2 guys up to 16 hours, and then we shut them down and gave them the rest of the time off.
So I watched with interest with the fires in California. They had people working 48 hours straight. And I thought, oh, Brady wouldn't like that.
The fire or the 48 hours?
In the state of emergency.
Yeah.
those things.
In Ohio, Ohio, I did read up somewhere along the way that Ohio has, in the federal DOT regulations, do have exemptions for snow and ice removal. So we theoretically, legally could, I believe, run 24/7 if we had to. And not pull anybody out of the truck. It's not a great idea, but.
No, it could happen. I finally found my notes for streets, so, just to be very summarizing, the guys were cold patching. I can't imagine cold patching, but I can't imagine being outside. And let's see, the flag has been taken down at the South Park because the lighting is just inadequate completely. And Tim has an idea to get a solar box of some sort, if you want to ask him questions about that. And we hope to do that, and the Masons have been informed, they were very gracious when I called. The other thing, and Jerry's had a lot of ideas on this, the empty lots on the corners. Give me some ideas what you want. I made fun of Jerry's clock idea, and now I think it's a good idea. Do we want a pavilion where the brides are standing there in their strapless wedding gowns looking beautiful, and maybe take some pictures? Because they'll take pictures in any gazebo, for God's sake. So seriously, plants, critification, that sort of thing. And Tim has some good ideas. That's all I got for streets.
Any other questions from of the street committee? Building committee?
Oh, come on, back to back, Mayor, you're killing me. Building committee met. Well, if we met Friday, that was Thursday, we met for building.
Mhm.
And both of these were just a lot of information when you're new on something, came my way. Must say, really enjoyed listening to Ruth talk about what she does, because I really don't have a clue what she did before that. Going from City Force to iWork, that sort of thing. The former bank building is going to have a new business go in there, which we hope is soon. A few other things. We have to have a board of building code appeals. Mayor, were you the one that found that?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's never been used, but the state says we have to set it up. One more thing to do. And I didn't know how often BZA met, Planning Commission met, and ABR. Mark is real adept at these things, and I appreciate you
Only
being
because I'm
here.
on planning commission.
Yeah, I was years ago, but I'd already forgotten a whole lot of it. But Planning Commission was a huge learning curve 30 years ago. What else do you want to add, Mark?
There was some discussion about the garage for the bed truck,
Yes.
and there was some indications that maybe the plans were not quite as up to speed as they should be, Chief. Did building official contact you about that?
I'm sorry, in reference to?
In reference to the drum garage, did the plans need some tweaking?
Yeah, they had to add a sewer line on there, so yeah, but everything was done and the process was completed. He reviewed them today, as a matter of fact, and we're ready to move.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I love building. I didn't just like streets, but I've been around streets too long. And I really love watching Ruth work over there, so very interesting.
Anything else for the building committee? Hearing none, Chief, you're up.
Thank you. I submitted a month-end report. One thing I wanted to add is we did last month replace the school zone flashers on both sides of the road on Bell Road. Since then, that battery had died again in the eastbound direction. We've determined that we've got a defective solar panel and some corroded light heads. So I'm waiting on a quote from Param Electric to try and get those issues resolved. I don't have a price yet. Also, a solar panel update on the police department. As of right now, we have no movement on the meter as the solar panels are all covered in snow. The work order for the solar panel bidirectional meter triggered a review of our PD account. On a residential account this whole time.
this triggered a review of our account. We are now moving to a commercial
Great.
account, which raises our rates about $80 a month for the meter. That's all I have.
Questions of the chief?
They're charging us $80 a month for the meter?
For commercial.
And that's why it costs so much to light the flags, because they go commercial, right?
Question.
Is there enough power available that we can do away with your meter combined service? Run power from service to power the PD?
Not with our new building coming. We had to upgrade to a 200 amp service. So with the new building coming, that's probably not an option.
Okay, safety committee.
Safety Committee met on the 12th of January. The next meeting is going to be the 13th of February. We do have legislation before council at today's council meeting, primarily changes in the golf cart legislation. There are definitions which define what a cart is, licensure requirements to operate that vehicle, and largely, it limits the use of golf carts to those streets which have a 35-mile-per-hour speed limit area and below. So
that's what you were pushing for in the fall, so we're finally.
Yeah. So that's the executive summary of the golf cart legislation, unless the solicitor has anything more to add on that. And there will be legislation on purchasing a new police vehicle. And, to clarify, the police garage bids were open, and a bid was accepted from Wengerd Construction Company Limited. And the total cost of the contract is anticipated to be $104,509.
And there is legislation, I think a late add-on to approve and award the bid. So it has not yet been awarded.
Well, and thank you for that, because I was not in receipt of that late legislation. Thank you.
Right, I only sent it to Danielle.
Okay.
Questions of the safety committee? HR committee.
Okay, HR committee is now myself and Councilman Bell. We met January 9th, and we will meet again on February 11th at 7:30 a.m. And that is the HR report.
I
Questions
missed
of,
you, Chris.
questions of the HR committee? Hearing none. Property committee.
Hey, I'm not sure how we established chairs of these committees, but anyway, I'll start and Councilman Galicki can chime in. Properties is not met yet. I have suggested that we meet next week, January 21st at 9 a.m. And so we will take the notes as provided by Councilwoman Kavanaugh and move forward from those on properties.
Yeah, I submitted them about a month ago.
Yeah,
so
I got them here.
Okay,
I'm
you
good.
keep going, you're doing a
I'm
great
good,
job.
I'm
You
good.
want to summarize.
And that's as far as properties has gotten so far.
Well, so again, we need some suggestions and deep thought about these empty lots. Either that or Tim Young's gonna go wild this summer planting stuff. He's got some good ideas, but I would like just a little bit of input from council.
The 21st, you said?
20, yeah, I'm suggesting unless there's a conflict, but we'll find that out and then we'll get it sunshine and we'll go from there.
Questions of the, you want to do the motion for, we'll have to bid for salt dome, or the, pardon me,
If you're ready to do
salt
that.
structure.
Okay. So at this time, we'll make a motion to allow, to ask the mayor, the engineer, the fiscal officer to go out to bid for the salt dome structure estimated at $750,000. So moved.
Second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Questions of the property committee? Parks Committee is also part of the property.
Yep,
committee.
and has not met, and we will discuss a meeting.
Oh, you guys are gonna
next
take
week.
over parks?
Chair of Properties is Chair of Parks, or is on the Park Committee.
She's on the park.
Who's it? It's the
The
two
park
of
was the
you?
park.
Mr. Bird.
Great.
I knew I wasn't gonna get away with that.
Public Utilities Committee.
Okay, so Public Utilities Committee met January 10th. The minutes were provided, and they are in the package for the council members. We talked about a number of things, primarily, well, beginning with the solar panel project. Perhaps when we get some melted snow and some sun, we'll actually see what might happen over there with regard to that. And depending on how that works out, there may be other solar projects appropriate well down the road. We also talked about the upcoming Fairview Hazelwood project, which is on the western end of the village. It involves significant work for stormwater betterment, one of which will involve Russell Township. As I understand, the Russell Township trustees have to appoint a successor, Matt Rambo, who is now on the Common Pleas bench. And when all three of them are assembled, we may be able to give them an update down the road about that project, because we're looking for half from them, as council will recall. Next meeting for Public Utilities. By the way, Daniel, I'm the chair of Public Utilities, I think we've agreed. And
February 7th.
February 7th at 3:15 in the street commissioner's office. And that's all I have, unless Councilman Cannon has more to add.
I have nothing to add.
Questions of the Public Utilities Committee? Hearing none, before we go to ordinances, resolutions, I'm going to do the mayor's report. It's the Ohio Township magazine. It comes out, I think it's once a month. It is loaded with all sorts of ads, but there's also some good stuff in it. One of the things in it, does your local government have a social media policy?
Yes.
Is this constant changing something we have to consider, social media?
We have the policy, right?
Do-
We adopted
but, I
it
mean,
a year
is this
ago.
something, you know-
We should always review it,
When-
always. So
Having-
every year, I would say, review.
Go in that HR meeting where they said you just got to stay on top of it.
Correct.
Okay. All right. You aware that I have marked down that I'm starting at 7:37. As we begin the year 2025, it's a pleasure to report on the state of the village. We are and still remain to be 4 square miles with approximately 4,000 residents and 1,400 homes. The building department issued 410 permits last year. That's up from 342 permits in '23. That was an increase of 68 permits. Permits for use for such things as sheds, bathrooms, kitchen remodelings, but we're getting some huge remodeling projects, and we're having another tear down of an existing home. Pavilion rentals continue to drop. The last 3 years, it's gone from 84 to 74 to 63. I don't know why. We have streamlined the process, and that takes effect this year. New software was implemented last year in the building department. New software is going to be implemented this year, and it probably be on the same smooth but slow pace. Previous years, village residents have been eager to help, volunteering to serve on the ARB, BZA, PC, and the Board of Building Code Appeals as members or alternates. However, no residents so far has expressed any interest. Usually I'd have about 5 or 6 people a year to say, hey, I'd like to do something. We didn't get anybody this year. In talking to some HOA leaders, they're saying the same thing, that getting residents to serve on their HOA, participate in HOA activities, has gotten harder. We will be seeking residents' input and assistance on the America 250 celebration. Bruce got that under control Wednesday. Yeah, we're getting that under control. That should be a wonderful thing. Changes. Lopez on East Washington is now Lopez 44 in Chagrin Falls. Our Lopez will reopen as a party center. Panini's will reopen in February and March as Tavern 6. Citizens Bank is going to become an accountant investment office. office building at 539 East Washington, they're adding more offices to each end of the present building. When you look at the building, you can actually see back in the 1950s, it was two houses. Somebody hooked the two houses together and created offices. Now they're putting additions on each thing, or each part of it. So there's still a demand for office space. Wildscapes Art Studio and Travel Agency opens this week.
Where's that, Mayor?
That's in the gallery, the wine bar.
I read that.
Yeah, it's in the back. A long and time-consuming project is going to be the updating of our building code. We will start in March with a joint BZA Planning Commission meeting. Finance, the large increase in property, I think everyone's seen that, yeah. The large increase in property evaluations called us to do another quick and, in my opinion, correct reduction in our taxes for 2025. We raised taxes in 2017 through a 1.5 mil 5-year road program that raises $250,000, and we haven't gone back to raise taxes since. Remind people that renewals do not raise taxes. Work is still needed to reduce stress and last-minute financial planning. The creation of reserve fund and working with Meter Investments has helped. There are 5 major projects this year. These are big buck. Paving of the Bell Road, trails, salt dome, the drone garage, and the park bathroom. Technology improvements with ADP are debatable. Possibly it's the lump of coal that I mentioned at the Christmas party. The chief and I visited with the Bainbridge police chief. Bainbridge has been with ADP 8 years. And I guess if you wanted to say satisfied is probably the word that describes the relationship. HR, the evaluation procedures and forms are being modified during the year to meet our needs. All will be completed by April 1st. Updates on the HR issues are being refined. The latest meeting involving HR and the street crew, we had a meeting with them, dealt with this overtime, the hours, specifically dealing with snow plowing. We're going to go back and take another look at the timesheet process. We think we can do things by a cell phone-based procedure instead of paperwork. Very proud that all employees are taking advantage of our incentive, $250, to have a yearly physical. The Veterans Luncheon, the 10th Annual First Responders Recognition, Fall Festival, and the Harvest for Hunger were again successful. I mentioned the social media. Our first all electronic newsletter was distributed. And the American, again, 250 celebration planning, it occurs monthly. They have monthly in-person meetings. They have monthly Zoom meetings. And we'll do that resolution at the end of the month, a resolution at the end of the month. Property Committee, involved improvements. Our cemetery at Warwick, I keep mentioning it, needs tender loving care. Scouts and community groups continue to improve our properties with kiosks, flowers, underground railroads, interurban displays, bat houses, and trail markers. The Fall Festival, which falls under property, needs some refreshing, and I think we should get started on that soon. Implementing of the park master plan has begun. One of the things was the controlled burn. Again, that's going to be about a 2 or 3 day notice. Hey, they're coming, burn, and it's going to happen quickly. The restroom should be installed after we've been our 11th year of discussing.
Oh, my God.
Modifications are needed in the park on the recent Eagle Scout trail markers and maps. Some of the kids, Eagle Scouts, couldn't read a map. And the bike and hike trail, a bike ride and a hike are being planned for the park. And street commissioner has also come up with 2 different designs to improve the corner lots. Public utilities, the Manabrook floodplain received additional improvements requested by the Ohio EPA. Landscaping was completed with additional trees installed over the newly enlarged culvert, installed across Chillicothe to the floodplain. And we just took care of the central retention basin, got in the deadline. December 31st, fiscal officer, you were getting a couple big things out of here by the deadline. You had a couple hours to wait.
Danielle was fantastic.
She was unbelievable with
Happy
two.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah. It's like, if the power had gone out, we would have had two big projects that
Tends to
didn't
happen on New
that
Year's
didn't
Eve.
get done. We've addressed the water issues behind the homes on the east side of Chillicothe, north of Bell Meadow Ditch, and we also looked at Fairview and Maple Ridge. Engineer, I'll be talking to you. I got my letter ready for the Fairview people, but I want to know how to describe that little triangle at the corner, so I'll get in touch with you on that. Solar panels were installed. Hi-Fi sensor continues to provide the data on the storm waters. The first successful ESID project at Manor Brook was completed. That was all done by them through a wonderful program. Vice President of the ESID is sitting right here. The inflow and infiltration into our sewer system, we still have to continue to investigate this. The county was looking into it and then they kind of dropped it. I saw it in my notes and I think it's something we want to go back to. Basically, what the county thought, that 60% of the water going to the McFarland was coming from South Russell, with only about 14% of the people using that. So water had to be infiltrating into that. And they just stopped looking, but somehow they were getting too much water for basically the few number
We
of
couldn't
people that were
possibly,
using.
we couldn't have 60%.
If we had a couple open manholes next to a stream, yeah, you could.
That's insane. If you consider how many people.
Right, well,
Yeah.
he's talking about, the mayor's talking about inflow, which means clean rainwater getting down into the sanitary sewer and going.
Okay.
So that can account for a
Concerned
lot
me,
of
the
volume.
county came to this, brought this to us, then they dropped it. I don't know if it's a big deal or not. Water quality in the United States Geological Survey are on the agenda for this year on sampling water, and just let us know the quality that we have. They also would do that besides the quantity. How to work with privately owned lakes and ponds to control stormwater runoff and water quality continues to be on the agenda. We've had our first connection with a homeowners association, and I think they're willing to help us out. Safety. Got some new employees, crosswalks and paths. Discussion took up a lot of the year. Our relation with Chagrin Schools was increased with the creation of a school security officer. Chief, I just think it's a shame, but you did it the right way. That's a shame we have to have it. It's been done the right way. Chagrin Valley Dispatch for our police department was changed to Geauga County. And construction of the Chagrin Valley Fire Department, it continues, and they're having their headaches. Streets, saw a new street commissioner. Begin the process of examining all aspects of the department, from how to plow a street, to trimming trees, to garage doors, to new signs. When somebody comes in after years of the same old, it's caused a little unrest. But we've also seen some great improvements already on how we do things. Looking at employee clothing, and this is all Tim, I'm taking your thunder here. How we do clothing, boots, shoes, glasses, gloves, outerwear, uniforms, etc. We think we got a more effective use coming up. And we're also curious, are we still under contract with Cintas? Can we determine, do we know?
I reached out to them and they were supposed to send me an email. The other day I called their customer service to ask. I haven't received anything back and I couldn't get an answer from them on the phone.
Okay.
And they said they were checking it. The service provider fellow that comes weekly, he said on his device, it doesn't show us being under contract.
Oh, really? Or are
So,
we just paying once a month?
well, that's what I can't get an answer from them.
Which would be great, actually, really helpful, because then we would just repeal the ordinance and start over.
Right,
Right.
so I haven't had any luck getting any response back from them.
We had another very nice year of paving our roads, Eric. It's the way it should be.
That's the way it should
Very
be.
good. Shredding and trash and the yard sale events were successful. Salt Dome we talked about is coming up. We're We're hearing rumors of a new gas line going to be installed along Bell, which is basically be from Paw Paw going east. And we're planning on paving Bell, so we're trying to figure out what exactly they're going to do and when they're going to do it.
Can I ask who? Is it Enbridge/Dominion, or is it some?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And it just came up kind of off the cuff, but we're trying to figure out, nothing would look worse than we pave the road and they come in and start putting the gas line on.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
especially given the strife that the last gas line caused.
The contractor for the culverts, that couldn't have been any better also. That project went smoothly. We met with him on a Saturday morning to talk about Sugar Bush silt. Okay, that was basically the state of the village, for those of you out there. I'm also, Ruth and Dennis, I'm going to knock off the OML conference. I realized we went back in October and I haven't reported yet. Just 11 items. At the Ohio Municipal League Conference, they talked about a lot of different things. What do you think your Social Security number is worth on the black market? What will people pay?
For mine, not much,
Well,
except gas.
$10 is all your Social Security number is worth. 'Cause
Seriously.
There's so many out there. You were in the same room I was. Did you fall asleep during that
Well,
part?
I had my moments.
Okay, the police and fire pension, it did not pass what they wanted, the big changes, but on the other hand, the police and fire pensions are only good for 28 years in the state laws. You've got to have enough money in there for 30 years. So something has to be done for the police and fire pensions. Ohio is considered to be not as competitive like with Georgia, Nashville, Charlotte, because of the way we collect our local income tax and a net profit tax. And I don't know anything more about that than I heard it.
That's a generalization. We do well as a village.
Yeah, I think it's just the way the state operates. 3/4 of all the jobs that are created in cities, not in these unincorporated areas. That was kind of interesting. The majority of all the money from the state comes from the sales tax. And Texas homes, for example, are considered to be $1,000 cheaper because of Ohio's regulations and our building standards.
That's okay.
What's that?
I'm
I could
for
believe that. Improper and substantial gifts are the guiding rule for the ethics violations. $75 is considered the unofficial limit. 7 to 8% rise in property values occurs if a marijuana dispenser is nearby. Amazing.
A rise?
Yes. 10% of all marijuana sales are taxed, and 36% of that 10% goes to local funding, which for us it means nothing because we don't have a place. The other issue came up, and we've had this discussion. If an employee uses marijuana on a Sunday and fails a drug test on Monday, can you terminate him? And one of the suggestions was to look at your disciplinary process. Some municipalities resorted to manually applying chemicals in their water treatment plants because of a fear through internet criminals who were hacking into their systems and were adding and subtracting chemicals electronically. That they're so, they're getting into how much, chlorine, salt you put into a system, that they were doing it manually. That's the state of the village. Regularly scheduled council meetings, we're working on that. And I'm done.
Mayor, can I just make a couple of corrections on your
Sure.
state of the village? So you mentioned that there would be an update to the building code. I think you meant to say the zoning code.
Zoning code,
And
yes.
then also with Lopez Party Center, they want to open as a party center. They have not yet been approved. They have to come before planning.
I wonder if it's ever gonna happen, but that's not here or there. No, they haven't opened yet.
I wondered, when you said the tear down, you referring to the one on Bell Road, Bill, that already
Yeah,
happened?
804.
Yeah,
And, it's interesting, 808 just across the street was a tear down also.
I know. And talking about the roads, I'm telling you, Bell Road East is a washboard with these cold temperatures. It's,
One of the things that Eric has come up with is chips,
Oh, yeah, the chip seal interlayer.
chip seal.
Yeah, it does a whole lot for that. It's not, it's not something that ODOT has as a standard practice, but we've been doing it here in the village and elsewhere for years and years, and it's real cost effective, it works.
it gets rid of the lumpity bump.
What it does is it prevents all the little surface cracking that's in the road. Water, rainwater, snow melt, gets down in under the pavement and then it, freezes again. And that's where you start getting all of the rideability issues or a lot of the rideability issues. If you have a flexible interlayer, which is chip seal is like, it never really hardens. It's always just kind of a rubbery, flexible layer in there. Prevents the water from getting down into the road base. We wanted to chip seal Bell Road West when we had our NOACA money and ODOT involvement. And ODOT said that's not something that we do use as an interlayer. No, we're not gonna do it. I found a workaround for Bell Road East, so we will be putting a chip seal interlayer on Bell Road East.
Okay. Newberry, and I don't know, is Bell Road a Newberry road or is that a county road? I don't know the answer.
They said it's a county, the county paved that.
Because they just paved that last summer, and wouldn't it behoove us to do ours at the same time that theirs is done, is what I'm thinking.
Yes, but it never works that way.
Theirs is beautiful. It's like an ice skating rink. It's wonderful. I get in the old Pilot, and then I come up the hill, and I hear bum, 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 bum.
It's
We'll be fixing that.
You have to turn the radio up.
Right. We are at ordinances, resolutions, and I haven't peeked ahead to see what these apply for, so that you know it belongs to you. Like see golf carts, that's to be safety, so the first one, Dennis.
Okay, I'd like to make a third reading of an ordinance enacting new chapter 478 of the codified ordinances of the Village of South Russell, regulating the operation of golf carts within the Village of South Russell, declaring an emergency. Motion to adopt.
Need a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Galicki.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
The ordinance passes. Ruth, this next one is with the building department, so that's yours.
Third reading of an ordinance approving the partnership agreement between the Village of South Russell and TextMyGov in a sum not to exceed $12,000 for TextMyGov software and related services for a term of 3 years, authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to execute the agreement on behalf of the village and declaring an emergency.
Second.
I move to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Galicki.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. This next one is Gov Deals.
Is that property?
I think it's proper.
It is property.
Introduce and consider for adoption a resolution expressing the intent to sell personal property not needed for the public use by internet auction through Gov Deals and or eBay, declaring an emergency.
Second.
You want to
Waive further readings.
Second.
roll call.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Galicki.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Galicki.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Dennis, back to you.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance approving the purchase of a 2025 Ford Police Interceptor utility hybrid vehicle from Montrose Ford for the sum total of $47,184.75, authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to execute necessary documents for such purchase, declaring an emergency, waiving further readings. So moved.
Second.
Roll
Berger.
call.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Galicki.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye. Move to.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Galicki.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. There you go, chief. Okay, this is marijuana. Ruth, I'm giving it back to you as a building situation.
Introduce and consider for adoption a moratorium on reviewing, issuing, and processing of any permits relating to retail dispensaries, cultivators, or processors of adult use cannabis within the village of South Russell for another period of 12 months and declaring an emergency. Move to
Waive reading.
waive readings, sorry.
Second.
Roll call.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Moratorium passes. This next one I'm going to call a finance issue because it's dealing with who's got to pay for this. Oh, no, public utilities. I see the word there, Mark.
It is there. I will introduce an ordinance supporting the Ohio Municipal League's challenge of AT&T's tariff application at the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio and declare an emergency. Move to waive further readings.
Second.
Roll call.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye. Move to adopt.
Second.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. This next one's to employ the engineering firm for, now this is for 2 years.
3.
No, it's for 3 years.
3 years.
Well, retroactive. Yeah.
25.
Okay, I have-
But you can opt out at any time.
All right, who wants to do this one?
I'll do it.
All right,
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into the master agreement for professional consulting services with Verdantis LLC and Verdantis Architecture, Inc. to act as the village's engineer for the time period January 1st, 2025, retroactively through December 31st, 2027, declaring an emergency. Move to waive further readings.
Second.
roll call.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye. Move to adopt.
Second.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
All right, ordinance passes. This
Thank you,
next
Council.
one is safety. You get in the garage.
Introduce and consider for adoption an ordinance awarding a bid proposal of One Guard Construction Limited to the amount of $104,509 for the construction of a 20-foot by 30-foot garage for the Village of South Russell Police Department, declaring an emergency. Waive further readings. So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Berger.
Aye.
Canton.
Aye.
Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Stuckey.
Aye.
Porter.
Aye.
Ordinance passes. We are at the bills list.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Question, there are 3 bills to pay. Do we do them all together or separately?
You can do them together.
Okay, and can Councilman Berger and I?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay, very good. Motion to ratify the bills listed of December 13th, 2024, the amount of $99,448.85. December 29th, 2024, in the amount of $132,481.70. And December 31st, 2024, in the amount of $267.55.
We need a second.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. All right, we have other business. These, just anybody grab one. We can all take one. Ruth, you want to take the first one?
Consider a motion for an alternate date for the May 26, 2025 regular council meeting. Do we want to do that now?
Might as well make the alternate day, make it May 27.
Yeah, following day.
Yeah.
Following day.
Tuesday, May 27th. Is that okay with everyone?
Okay, it's a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Dennis, you want to take the next one?
I don't understand what we're asking here.
I think, we just want, if you can just let us know when you're, when you set your schedules for your committees, so.
You still want us to do,
So the inference is basically that all committee chairs, which may not have known that they were committee chairs until today.
Well, and we
Have
need to
not
get it out.
submitted.
That is something, we do need to get on the record of who are the chairs of all these committees.
But you want them more middle of the month?
It's
For you?
better for council packets if you have it
Before,
before the second one of the month.
So-
That's what we did last year. We
so
did-
middle-ish,
Right,
okay.
Rather than any motion, I would just invite all committee chairs
To get
to
organized.
please contact Danielle with your schedule for the appropriate committee meetings throughout the year.
So, for example, ideally, all the committees would meet in the next 4 days of this week. So you'd have a meeting tonight, committee meeting this week, then we'd be ready for the next council. But it's gonna change.
Yeah, 'cause
Who
we
are
just
All right,
done
Mark,
that.
you
Who are
wanna,
the committee chairs for the committees? Can we go-
we've always used the first person listed,
So all
but,
that, and
yeah.
is that the sheet that you gave out?
Yes.
Okay,
Except,
so that's always,
I'm the chair of public utilities,
okay,
Jerry's doing chair of finance.
okay.
All right, Mark, you wanna do trick or treat?
Oh, I like
Okay.
I'd like to introduce a motion to hold trick or treating in the village of South Russell on October 31st, 2025, from 6 PM to 8 PM. So moved.
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Jerry?
Motion to hold the Veterans Feast Monday, November 10th, 2025 at 9 a.m. at the Sleepy Rooster Restaurant.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Chris?
Motion to approve the 2025 membership, I assume for South Russell Village, with the Chagrin River Water Partnership.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Back to you, Ruth.
Motion to approve the Chagrin River Watershed Partners invoice, which if memory serves, it was around $2,800.
2875.
$28.75. So
Second.
moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. All right, Dennis? You want to do the next one?
Motion to hold the 2025 village-wide yard sale, April 19th, 2025, from 8 o'clock a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, Mark.
Sure. I'd like to introduce a motion to hold South Russell Village Trash Day 2025 on April 26th, 2025, 8 AM to 2 PM. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, we have a motion to go into executive
Hold
session.
on, we need one more. I won't be here for the second meeting in February, which is February 10th. Please excuse me.
You said
Motion to-
10th to the 24th. You said the second meeting in February?
I'm sorry, first meeting in February.
February 10th.
February 10th.
So motion to excuse Councilwoman Kavanaugh from the February 10th, 2025 council meeting. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Enjoy.
Thank you.
All right,
Don't we still have a new other to go?
Yes, we do.
That's per our rules, just so you
We
know.
did a lot of new. We're in the other now.
oh, yes, yeah, we're just at new.
Okay, new other burger.
Just one thing, the fiscal officer provided to me from the Village of Highland Hills, their rules on establishing committees. And so I want to alert council that as part of the HR committee, we will be looking at the committees that we have and whether we need to establish other ones, or in their case, they have standing committees and then special committees. And it's an interesting approach. So we will be reviewing that, and that's all I have.
Canton.
Yes, I want to take this opportunity to thank the commissioner and his team for a job well done, keeping our streets safe. Wherever I go, I ask people where they live. If they say South Russell, I ask them, well, how's the street? Is it being maintained? And they said, yes.
Thank you.
So I appreciate that, and they do too. That's all I have.
Kavanaugh.
Mayor's referred to America's 250 a couple of times. I have to finish writing my narrative, which I'm so uncomfortable with it because it's about what I've done and why I want to do this. It's because I'm a nut job for history and to say yes. Anyway, this Andrew Mezak that is up at Century Village, he is so much fun to work with. The guy he has a political science degree. He's really bright. His godmother was Stephanie Tubbs Jones. His mother was a former mayor of Bedford. And I just find him really engaging. So I meet again tomorrow with him. It's my third, and I hope it's my last time up there. Century Village, which kind of hit some financial skids there over the past few years. They say they're in the black again. The store where you go in has been totally cleaned up, revamped. I love it. I wanted to buy everything, and of course I can't. I was impressed, and they've retrofitted the upstairs of that. Is everybody kind of familiar with the store? I'm sure those were the bedrooms, teeny tiny, smaller than my bedroom at 50 Waffle Lake. Really nice. Place is warm. Are you laughing at me? At any rate,
It's a small bedroom thing.
Laughing with you.
my childhood bedroom. At any rate, I'm excited about this. And when I showed him the stuff that we've done here that the village has supported for the 75th and the 100th, he goes, "You guys are ahead of the curve." And I went kind of like, "Yeah, I know." So that's tomorrow. And the mayor has been going with me to we'll have the monthly 250 meeting at it's the library building that's on, not Ravenwood, what's the road? Merritt Road. That was very well attended by a bunch of history nerds throughout the county and trustees of that. And so people are going to be doing things. I've contacted all those organizations I'm in that are history loving. Didn't hear back from my DAR, but I'm the worst member there is. Did hear back from Chagrin History Center, which is the old historical society. They're interested, but they don't know quite what to do, which means get some plans. I think start growing your beards, but we got a year and a half. Do we want some beard lengths, a pie baking contest, some old fashioned stuff? Do we want to put guys with two-man saw? I got a couple two-man saws. Anyway, that's me. That's enough.
Pioneer days, so
Pardon?
pioneer days.
Pioneer days.
Go and solve.
Colicki, new other,
None.
Porter, new other.
How are we fixed for Ohio flags, for replacements over the next year?
For the amount of Ohio flags we have on hand?
Yeah.
I have to look into it.
All right, thanks.
That's
That's all.
everybody. That's
Okay.
everybody.
Executive session.
I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session for the purposes of conferring with the solicitor regarding pending litigation involving the village pursuant to section 121.22 G3 of the Ohio Revised Code, and invite into the executive session the solicitor, the mayor, the police chief, and the fiscal officer. So moved.
Second.
Berger,
Aye.
Canton,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Colicki,
Aye.
Porter.
All right.
We will go into executive session at 8:20.